Because of Winn-Dixie, Chapter 25. We heard the music before we even got to Gloria Dump's house. We heard it almost a block away. It was a guitar playing and singing and clapping. I wonder what was going on, my father said. We walked up Gloria's sidewalk and around the back, through her yard and into her kitchen. And what we saw was Otis playing his guitar and Miss Franny and Gloria sitting there smiling and singing, and Gloria holding Sweetie Pie in her arm and in her lap. And Amanda and Dunlap and Stevie were all sitting on the kitchen floor, clapping along and having the best possible time. Even Amanda was smiling. I couldn't believe they were so happy when Winn-Dixie was missing. I couldn't find him. I shouted at them. The music stopped and Gloria looked at me and said, "Child, we know you didn't find him. You didn't find him because he was right here all along." She took her cane and poked at something under her chair. "Come on out of there," she said. There was a sniffle and a sigh. "He's asleep," she said. "He's plumb worn out." She poked him around with her cane again, and Winn-Dixie stood up from underneath the chair and yawned. "Winn-Dixie," I hollered. "Dog," Gertrude squawked. Winn-Dixie wagged his tail and showed me all his teeth and sneezed. I went pushing past everybody. I dropped to the floor and wrapped my arms around him. "Where have you been?" I asked him. He yawned again. "How did you find him?" I asked. "Now there's the story," said Miss Franny. "Gloria, why don't you tell it?" "Well, Gloria Dump, we were all just sitting there around waiting on the two of you, and after I convinced the Dewberry boys that there ain't no scary witch and all the full of potions and spells." "She ain't no witch," Stevie said. He shook his bald head. He looked kind of disappointed. "Nah," said Dunlap, "she ain't. If she was, she would have turned us into toads by now." He grinned. "I could have told you that she wasn't a witch." "Witches don't exist," said Amanda. "They're just myths." "All right now," said Gloria. "What happened was we got through all them witchy things, and then Franny said, 'Why don't we have a little music while we wait for you two to get back?' And so Otis played his guitar, and woo-wee! There ain't a song he didn't know. And if he don't know it, he can pick it right up real quick if you hum it to him. He has a gift." Gloria stopped and smiled over to Otis, and he smiled back. He looked and lit up from ear to ear, from the inside out. "Tell me what happened," Sweetie Pie said. "Tell me about the dog." "So," said Gloria, "Franny and me, we started thinking about all the things and all the songs we knew from when we were girls. We got Otis to play them, and we started singing them, teaching the words to these children. And then somebody sneezed." Sweetie Pie shouted. "That's right," said Gloria. "Somebody sneezed, and it wasn't none of us." So we looked around, wondering who did it, thinking that maybe we got a burglar in the house. We looked around, and we didn't see nothing. So we started to sing again, and sure enough, there was another big achoo. Sounded like it was coming from my bedroom. So I sent Otis in there. I said, "Otis, go on in there and see who's sneezing." So Otis went in, and do you know who he found? I shook my head. "Winn-Dixie," shouted Sweetie Pie. "That dog of yours was hid underneath my bed, squeezed under there like the world was about to end. But he was smiling like a fool every time I heard Otis play the guitar, smiling so hard he sneezed." My daddy laughed. "It's true," Miss Franny said. "It's the truth," said Stevie. Dunlap nodded and smiled right at me. "So," Gloria Dump said, "Otis played his guitar right to that dog, and in a little bit of time, Winn-Dixie came creeping out from underneath the bed." "All covered in dust," said Amanda. "He looked like a ghost," said Dunlap. "Yeah," said Sweetie Pie, "just like a ghost." "Mm-hmm," said Gloria. "Looked like a ghost. Anyway, the storm stopped after a while, and your dog settled under my chair and fell asleep. And that's where he's been ever since, just waiting on you to come back to find him." "Winn-Dixie," I said. I hugged him so tight he wheezed. "We were out there whistling and calling for you, and you were right here all along." "Thank you," I said to everybody. "Well," said Gloria Dump, "we didn't do nothing. We just sat here and waited and sang some songs. We all got to be good friends. Now the porch ain't nothing but water and egg salad sandwiches got all torn up in the rain, but you gotta eat them with a spoon if you want an egg salad. But we got pickles to eat, and litmus lozenges, and we got a party going on. And my daddy pulled out a kitchen chair and sat down. Otis, he said, do you know any hymns? I know some, said Otis. You hum it, said Miss Franny, nodding her head, and he can play it. So, my daddy started humming something, and Otis started picking it out of his guitar. And when Dixie wagged his tail and lay down underneath Gloria's chair and looked around the room at all the different faces, and I felt my heart swell up inside with just pure happiness. I'll be back in a minute, I said. But they were all singing now and laughing, and when Dixie was snoring, so no one heard me.